Yeah, how's it going? Just gonna do a short video on how I clean the lenses. Um, kind of basic. The key is You want clean water. I could use distilled water, but our well water is so friggin' clean. I think it's only 45 parts per million of anything besides just water when we tested it last time. But ideally, you want distilled water. You want to keep it things as clean as possible, and then some of these Q-tip thingies. But I think the key is you don't want to reuse stuff too much because then you're just wiping grease onto grease. So it's just all common sense. So we'll do this first lens here. This is a 50 millimeter 1.8. And I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to do a little bit of water over here. And just and then you can do all different sorts of techniques. I mean, I guess you can do circular out, you can do back. You just want to clean it. If you still see any smudges, you want to keep on cleaning it, and don't be skimpy on the Q-tips. Ooh, look at that! That's nice. Yeah. This was most of the lenses are from KEH. Used. You might as well just buy used if you can get stuff in good condition. I think a lot of that applies to the Life in general. I think is why get new when there's something perfectly good new. I know people see me. They drive an old Jimmy, and they say, "Why don't I have a like a hybrid?" But fact of the matter is, my Jimmy is so old, it's had so many owners, I'd have to spend a lot of money. I mean, actually, no, I'd have to have a lot of years to make up for having to buy a new, the carbon footprint of buying a new hybrid like a Prius. So don't feel bad if you have a big old car, because the old is good. You're not having to use resources again. Okay, it uses more gas, but the carbon footprint for making it, it's had multiple owners. So look at that. Ooh, that's nice. So that's all I do. Normally, I'll clean like that. Maybe, I don't know. I don't take as many pictures as I used to. But I might clean, the inside of the lens a couple times a year, and then the outside. I'm pretty fastidious if I'm shooting like a sporting event or something like that. But usually, I'm going to have a UV filter on these things. So, this is the another KEH. This might have been Amazon. But this is a great lens, 70 to 300, 4.5 to 5.6. If you go to Main Monty Media on Facebook, Main Monty Media, all the sport shots that I've taken have been with this lens right here. And it's probably 10 years old. I bought it for probably $290 a few years ago. It's a great lens. Great, and you put this on. Hopefully, I'll I'll be able to upgrade from my 7100 to a D500 as far as the crop factor. I have a D750, and then the crop factor camera is a D7100. But this with the crop factor kicks ass. You have a really long reach with a very compact lens. But anyway, so if I have a UV filter, it just takes a little bit longer. I mean, chances are the inside's not going to be that messy, right? But I'm going to clean the UV filter and still clean the inside and the outside. I don't know if there's a difference with Schwa, these Q-tips, but you want the ones that are kind of puffy. I might be lazy here and just do both sides at the same time. So UV filter's good, especially if you got expensive glass, but just a good thing in general. I don't spend a lot of money on, I don't totally cheap out, but I'm not spending a huge amount of money on UV filters, but I'm not spending like $90 or $100 on a UV filter. But that being said, I don't really have expensive lenses. So I guess if I had expensive lenses, right, and you always want sharp, but what are you gonna do? I'm not made out of money. Ooh, look at that. I see a little scratchy scratch. Is that a scratch? So this one here, taking pictures of a bunch of motocross last summer. I tried that for the first time. Really fun taking pictures of motocross. And Maine has one track that's really quite friendly for photographers, the MX207 track, because you really can get up close. And you can get, a lot of times with motorsports, the ideal thing is to be inside the turn, but the problem is a lot of tracks don't let you get inside the turn for most turns. But MX207, you can get inside to a lot of turns and get very close. So that's a great track. But anyway, you get a lot of dust, right? You get a lot of dust buildup on motocross tracks. So what I think the best thing to do, I'm going to try this year, is take two bodies. Because the worst thing to do is to take switch lenses there when there's so much friggin' dust. So I think the best thing, if you see the pro photographers, they'll have two bodies, one a medium a medium zoom, or maybe wide angle zoom lens, maybe a 35 to 70 or 28 to 85, and then they'll have their 70 to 200. And anyway, I'm blabbering, but yeah, you don't want to in a dirty environment in general. We're talking about lenses and dirtiness. You want to limit the time that your lenses are off the body. Let's say that, right? And when you change the lens, take a lens off the body, ideally you want it in a place that's fairly dust free. You just end up having to clean your sensor and all that way less. So that's still, I think when I got this, somebody thought they were giving me a crummy lens because the inside part of the lens had a big piece of gunk on it. The lens that's closest to the shutter. And I was able to get it off. And then the rest is history. I had a nice clear lens. I'll tell you, just in general, I've noticed buying used. I don't know, maybe I've had a poor run, but KEH is nice. But if buying off of Craigslist or Uncle Henry's, people really don't tell the truth a lot. I bought a FAL rifle. It's a semi-automatic rifle in .308 a couple years ago, or maybe a year and a half ago. And I was surprised that, well, I guess I should have known. I was surprised the guy wanted to sell a swap with one of my ARs. But when I got the gun home, because I didn't fire it before I left, the transaction, it only cycled through one round, and it turned out, the FAL, it has a single shot mode, that you adjust through the gas, a thing that adjusts the gas, and I guess it's for grenades. But anyway, I just swapped it back to the semi position, and the thing started working. So I think he might have been trying to give me something he thought it didn't work, but he got screwed there at the end, I think. All right, so that looks pretty good. So you don't want to clean your lenses with things that'll scratch. So you'd be surprised how many things can scratch a lens. So this is a good idea here. If you wanted to do lens cleaning cloth, I guess, but then you're going to have to throw away the lens cleaning cloth all the time. This is just a cheap way of doing it. So anywho, so it's just this and this and a little bit of elbow grease, not that much. Oh, this is really useful too. When you're at like an event, where things are dusty, like at that motocross event, I don't want to wipe a lens that's already got dirt on it, right? Because it's going to smear. I'd have to sit and do what I did here, and it takes longer. So usually what I'll do is I'll just use one of these air things and blow off the dirt instead of smearing it. If you're at an event where the environment's dusty, these things come in handy. Plus, for sensors, this is great. Spray the sensor. I'll just open up the sensor on take the lens off, open up the sensor, have the sensor face the camera facing down, and spray the dickens like that with the mirror open. And that, along with being disciplined as far as not changing your lens, in dodgy areas, and trying to avoid to change your lens in general a lot in outside or in unprotected areas. Also, when you change your lens, I'm going off, but I change the lens with the sensor facing down too, so that way something can't just fall into it. I've seen, and okay, people will say, well, if the shutter's off the sensor, fine, but yeah, but then you get dust on the mirror shutter, and then that moves around. You just don't want anything to go past. You don't want anything to go past this way, right into the camera. It's just common sense. Anyway, hope this video was a bit useful. But cleaning lenses is good. It's a good way to keep make sure that you're being out of focus or whatever doesn't have to do with your equipment. At least one of the reasons. And it's just it's nice to know when you're taking pictures that the lenses are all sparkly. Thanks a lot. Bye.